I'll do some of the word problems, guys, and they are right here. So we did 5, let's do 6. I don't want to start a new chapter, a new section today, okay? Right before the exam. We're going to do number 6, and I'm going to do it from scratch as if we haven't talked about any of this. And there's not a whole lot of lecturing to do here. It's a pretty straightforward course. I'm going to
So our exam have word problems like this?
Yes, absolutely, because 1.3 is in the syllabus, yes. And I'm going to do all the types today. We did, I think in this section, we have 3 types, okay? I did all 3 types yesterday. I'm going to do all 3 types today, and not the same problem, parallel problem, so everybody should be in good shape. Yes, there will be some word problems, actually. All right, guys, let's move on. Okay, half the battle is understanding the question. In 2004, the average age of cars on US roads was 11.3. Okay, whenever I see decimals, I'm like a little extra cautious. I'm like, okay, I have to do it carefully. For the period shown, basically they're talking about around 2014, the average age increased approximately 0.2 per year. So in 2004, the average age was 1.3, 11.3 plus 0.2. And the next year, it was whatever the previous year plus 0.2, so on and so forth, okay? That's what they're trying to say. If this trend continues, how many years after 2004 will the average age of vehicle in the US will be 12.3? So every year, the average age of car goes up by 0.2, okay? So suppose, I'm gonna do it nicely, suppose the average price of 12.3 took place after n years. I'll tell you what I mean. You have to, this is called defining your variable, and you want to define it very nicely. So the average price of, average age, not price, my bad, average age, average car age of this year's took place in years after. You don't have to write as much after 2014. Okay, so it could be 2015, that would be 1 year after. It could be 2016, that would be 2 years after. So n is your variable. Okay, every year it goes up by 0.2. In 2 years, it'll go up 2 times 0.2. In 3 years, it'll go up 3 times 0.2. In n years, it'll go up n times 0.2. So your equation is this price. I'm sorry, guys. This age is your first age, average age, plus n times 0.2. Now, generally, we write the number first. I'm going to fix it. Okay, this is your equation. And now you have to solve for n. And I'm going to subtract 11.3 from both sides. I know my decimal, I don't like my decimal. There's no good way. That's my decimal. On the right-hand side, I prefer to write the number first. Just a preference. Okay, actually, that's also a convention. It doesn't matter, nobody cares too much. Okay, 12.3 minus 11.3 is only 1. Divide both sides by 0.2. And your calculator will tell you this is 5. So the answer is 5 years. After 5 years, and it makes sense. Every year it goes up 0.2. After 5 years, it's going to go 0.2, 0.2, 0.2, 0.2, 0.2, 0.2. Add it all up to 11.3. You're going to get 12.3. Very easy to check. I don't think I messed up. So this is called defining the variable. Has to be done very nicely. This is called writing the equation. Has to be done very carefully. Make sure it's right. And the rest is very easy. Can I give you a
Could you
couple
stay on this for a little bit?
Absolutely.
So, for the exam, are we supposed to write the average car of that? Are we supposed to write that on there?
So let me see. What does the question say? Average current. So
Or are we just looking for 5?
I'm just looking for 5 or 5 years, either one, nothing else. You want to enter the answer. You don't want to write too much. I've realized when people, not you, I'm talking to the whole class actually, a couple of you were very nice. You wanted to write all the lines and it doesn't show me. Okay, they don't expect you to write too many lines. And so just the answer would be good. Okay.
Okay.
Jack, does this make sense to you, what we did? Didn't you say you wanted to look at it? Did you get a chance to look at it?
Yeah, I'm just writing it down.
Okay, okay. Who else, guys? Any other questions on this? I'm gonna let Jack copy it and just to let you know, it's an open book exam, I know, but I will change story problems a little bit. So I won't just give you car average. It could say something else, but you have to understand it. I don't want you to just, do it based on memorization because it's an open book exam. Make sure you understand what's being done.
All right, I got it.
Awesome. Anyone else, guys? We're going to let this slide away. Pun intended. And I'm going to do a new one. Okay, I didn't do the rug cleaner. So it's another type. Okay, a second type. I'm going to do this one too. We did number 9, if I'm not mistaken. And this is another type. I can give you any kind of story here. It doesn't have to be a rug cleaner. Of course, I can change the numbers. I can also change the context. Okay, you need to rent a rug cleaner. Company A will rent the machine you need for $22 per plus $6. So $20 you have to pay. Okay, even if you don't use the machine, you bring it home, you pay 20 bucks, 22 bucks. But if you keep it for 1 hour, you pay $6. You keep it for 2 hours, you pay $12 on top of that. You keep it for 3 hours, you pay $18. 3 times 6 is 18 on top of that. Company B does the same thing, but it charges you more upfront, a little less per hour. Okay, same story. After how many hours the two amounts will be the same. So let's write down, it's called defining your variable. Suppose the two amounts are the same after H hours. And again, this is called defining the variable. And it is a very important part of algebra. If you were to take this class in front of me, I would say if you don't define it nicely on top, I will take off some points. I can't say that now, but the reason I'm mentioning it so that you know, suppose the two amounts are the same after H hours. Okay, what's the cost? How much would you be paying for company A? Let's list it here. Company A will charge you $22 no matter what. If you used it for an hour, you would pay 6. If you used it for 2 hours, you would pay 12. If you used it for 3 hours, you would pay 18. Basically, you're talking about H times 6. And company B will charge you $28 upfront, $4 per hour, 1 hour, $4, 2 hours, $8, 3 hours, $12. So this will be for H. Now, since they're saying H is the number of hours where both companies will be charging you the same amount, you're going to set them as equal. And let me write it nicely. This is important. Plus 6. You first say, okay, let's say after 6 hours, the charges are the same. Okay, let's say. So you find out the total cost of the two companies using the data that's available to you, this question really. And then you will solve for H. Okay, I will move things around. Okay, I'm going to leave 6H here. I'm going to bring 4H from right to left. I'm going to leave 28 here. You put, it's called isolating the variable H, and you put H on one side, doesn't matter left or right, depending on, I don't like to see a minus sign, so that's why I moved them to the left, and minus 22. Okay, almost done, guys. 6H minus 4H is 2H. 28 minus 22 is 6. Therefore, H is 3 hours. And that's your answer. I'm going to check. I'm gonna check it in green, but then I'll be happy to take your questions. So A. Okay, go back and say, how much would you be paying to company A if you charge the machine, use the machine? Well, guys, let me do one thing. I don't like this H here. It's a little confusing. Let's write hours here properly. That's your answer. And I think it's right, but I'm going to check it for you guys, okay, in green. So company A will charge you $22 plus 6 times the 3 hours you rented it for. And 6 times 3 is 18. 18 plus 22 is 40. Company B, if you go to company B and say, hey, I need it for three hours, they will charge you same 3 hours, 12 plus 28, 28, 30, 40, same. So I know I didn't mess up. So here's the whole problem. I'll pause here a little bit. Okay, see if we have any questions from anyone. Let me write it nicely here. That's your answer.
So would you want us to write 3 hours?
Good question. When I put my answers, I would enter 3 hours. If you enter 3, I will give you full credit. If you enter 3 HR, I'll give you full credit. Just to let you know, your computer, if my answer says 3 space HOURS and you enter 3 HR, my computer will mark it wrong, unfortunately, but as you know, I'll go back and check it. So you should enter units correctly always. And if you don't, I don't take off points, but it should at least have 3 in it. And ideally 3 HRs, all are acceptable. 3 HRS, ideal, or 3 HOURS. I'm not going to bother writing it. I think you understand what I'm saying. Yes, just the answer and the unit. I wanted to we just have 3 types of problems. If we don't have any questions on this, I want to do one more problem. We'll wrap up the lesson that way. And I'll be here. I'm not trying to go anywhere. I'm going to take your question. Let me do one more that I really wanted to do today. Okay. From the same section. That's a fair game on the exam.
Dr. Wars.
I'm listening.
So for question number 10, it had like, it asked 2 questions.
Okay, your sound is cutting off. Amara, your sound is
at the
cutting
same
off.
time, but like also the total amount spent at each.
Amara, I couldn't hear your question. Could you tell me the section and the number, if you don't mind again?
Hello?
Yes, I couldn't hear you. Could you tell me the section? Let me text.
Number 10.
From which section? Same section we are working on?
1-3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's right here, the one you have on the screen. Now tell me what your question is. I'm sorry.
It had called for.
Oh, I'm sorry, Amara. You're right. So what they're saying, Amara, if I'm understanding you right, I didn't answer this.
For the time, like for the time.
Yeah, sure. Sure. Good question. So the total amount spent would be this. You're right. Okay, Amara is correct.
Like you did answer it when you checked the problem, when you checked your answer, but do you want both? Did you want both the 3 hours and the $40?
Yeah, very good question, Amara. I made a tiny error. It's not a major thing, but I'm glad you pointed it out. I do understand your question very well. So Jack, Amara, and everyone else, since the question, I just answered here and I stopped. Okay, so the final answer that you will be entering on my exam, if both questions are here.
So on the exam, you want both the 3 hours and the 40.
Yes, and I will show you right now. So I want you would enter it something like this, 3H, comma, $40. Yeah, if I give you 2 questions, you should answer both correct. Sorry about the confusion. I didn't read the second part, and I'm glad our friends caught us. Amara caught us. So Jack, maybe this is what you were asking. I want you to answer both because there are 2 questions. This question has 2 parts. You should answer both. Does that answer your question, Amara?
Yes.
Awesome.
Thank you.
The 3 hours and the $40.
Correct, because it has 2 questions. I just ignored this one, and that's my fault. That's my fault.
Okay, but the last one wasn't 2 answers for it.
No,
right?
I don't think it did. If a question has 2 answers, you will answer both, of course. And if I'm misanswering a question that has 2 answers, you catch me and say, did you answer the second one? I will say, no, I'm so sorry. Let's do it now, like I did. Okay. It was just it was a mistake on my part, but it's not a rule that, if there are 2 questions, you're going to only answer one. That's not any rule. It's a mistake I made. Okay. Moving on. Any other questions on number 10? Let me save it. Let me save this. Any other questions on number 10? Let me do one more that I really wanted to do with you guys, okay? And we did a version of this last class, all right? So let me see, 25, I'm gonna put here 26. And this is again for me, for reference. We did the rug, we did the bus yesterday, we did 10, 5, 6, 10. Okay, give me 1 second. 5, 6, and 10. We practically did all of them, but once I do this one, okay, this is not that bad. All right, guys. Now, good news, it has only one question. I will answer that. I'll be happy to answer that. If a question has 2 parts and I ignore one, just tell me you didn't answer the second one. Okay. Now, this is not bad. Okay, it's a third type. Okay, those are the 3 types we did. So they're saying there is a swimming pool. It's long. Okay, it's 3 times as long as it is wide. Let's draw it. Does the picture have to be perfect? Not really. Okay, so this is my pool. If it is X units, I'm going to use W. I'm going to define my variable pictorially. Okay, if this is W, the length is 3W. Why? Because the question says so. If the pool is rectangular, the opposite sides are the same. This has to be 3W and this has to be W. Now, the perimeter. What do we mean by the word perimeter? Perimeter means length of the outer boundary. Here, the length of the outer boundary is going to be, I'm going to go over the boundary, but I'm going to delete it because it doesn't look very pretty. This is the length of the outer boundary. Once you understand all those little pieces, you're going to write your equation. So I define my variable here. Okay. Your equation will be the perimeter is 320. Your perimeter is really 3W plus 3W plus W plus W. All the 4 sides added together of your rectangle gives you the perimeter of your rectangle. But the question says it's 320. Okay, then you're going to say 3 plus 3 plus 1 plus 1 is 8 W is equal to 320. Divide both sides by 8. And you should put your unit, it's feet. Now we're not done. Your answer is not going to be 40. It says find the dimensions. Sorry. Find the dimensions. That's exactly what it says. What do we mean by dimensions? Dimensions means length and the width. So the length is 40. And the width is 40, my bad. And the length is 3 times 40, 120. So your dimensions, I'm going to write it very nicely. This is your answer. You don't have to say dimensions. You can say 120 feet by 40 feet. Now, if you tell me 40 feet by 120 feet, that's just the same. Okay, if you tell me 120 feet by 40 feet, you're good. If you say dimensions, colon, one, sure, fine. Don't say 40. If you just give me 40, I'll take off half the points because you gave me the answer to one piece. So if it says, read it carefully. If it told you find the length, you would tell me 120. If it told you find the width, you would tell me 40. If it asks you find the dimensions, you're going to tell me 120 by 40 feet. Order doesn't matter. So I'm going to pause here a little bit.
So you would write 120 by 40 feet for this one, right?
Yeah, that's what I want to see.
Could we do another one like this?
Sure, why not? Why not? Let me do it. So before I move on, guys, move on. Do you guys have any other questions? The slide won't be available. Well, I guess I can save it. Okay, I can do another one like this. I don't see a problem. Okay, let me make it. Give me one, so you have to be a little patient, okay? I have a cool problem here. Well, unfortunately, I don't have a good.
Wait, there was one right further.
Say that again.
There was one a little bit ago.
Do you see on the screen any of my pool problems?
Oh, wait, go down. You just pass it. There you go.
Okay, yeah, that's a good one. Actually, that's good enough. So I'm gonna take
So are
this.
they all perimeter? None of them are area or anything?
Yeah, the story, as I told you, the type won't change. So let me make it. Let me make one up for you right now. It'll take me 2 seconds. So I'm gonna say the field is 4 times. 4 times, as long as it is wide. And give me 1 second. I do need a calculator to change the second number. Oh, let's make it. I won't change the perimeters. Okay, I won't change anything. The only thing I will do is change the numbers. So it'll be very similar. It'll be a pool with perimeter. It'll be a field with perimeter. Yes. Yeah, let's try it. Sorry. Let's try. I'm going to move away from this. So this one, a rectangular field, a rectangular athletic field is 4 times as long as it's wide. So let's make a narrow rectangle. Again, how I draw it doesn't matter. I'm going to say, nobody cares. This is W and this is 4W. Then this is 4W, it's a rectangle. Opposite sides are congruent. Now the perimeter is sum of the 2 lengths plus the 2 widths. And according to the question is 5,000 yards. When you add 4 to 4, you get 8. 8 to 1 is 9. 9 plus 1 is 10. 10W. Divide both sides by 10 to find the value of W. And that turns out to be 500. That turns out to be 500 YD yards. Okay, now your answer is almost here. You're going to go here and you can say the 1 dimensions. This is 500, I know.
I have a question, Professor, just real quick. Sorry to
Sure,
pause
sure.
there. Will you ever have to do squared?
For this type of a problem,
Will they all be rectangular objects?
yes. If I did, I won't do it. If I did, it'll be all the same size. All 4 sides will be the same. Here, Jack and everyone else, I know word problems are hard. I'm going to change context slightly, but not something to change the math. Okay.
So they'll all be rectangular objects.
When we are talking about this type of pool problem, they will always be rectangular. The longer side will be a multiple of the shorter side and will be certainly longer than the shorter side. Okay.
Okay.
So my answer, I'm going to write it nicely here. My answer, 2,000 yard by 500 yards. The red answer is your answer. Yes, you have to write both parts. If you write 1, you're going to get half the points. So that's all I have. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be here. You tell me what you want me to do. I'll do it. And one thing I'm just going to, I know we are being recorded. I'm going to remind again, your answers have to be entered nicely. Now, it doesn't matter with this one. It doesn't matter with sets. Okay. You can just use your keyboard, but yeah, you need braces and everything. However, when you're talking about powers, and you have to enter it scientifically, and the video is there on BlazeView. It's also there under study guide. Okay, right here. So just make sure you enter it nicely and don't lose the points right here. I'm going to get back here. If you don't have any questions, feel free to leave. I'm not going to do anything new, but if somebody asks me a question and it's a good problem, I will record it and upload it.
Could we do some more word problems?
Sure, what kind do you want? I don't mind.
Any of them, just to
Did we
practice?
leave anything here? Let me see. Well, did you get a chance to look at the videos from yesterday? There, this one is there. This one today we did. Let's see what else. I think we can do this one. I don't think we did number 12. I'll be happy to do number 12. Why don't we do this? Is that okay, Jack?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and then
I'll do
afterwards, we practice some stuff from P6.
Sure, sure. You also want to try the videos. They're all being done and we're going to record. Instead of rushing, well, it won't take us 10 minutes. I'll do it right here in this session. If it kicks me out, I'll be back. Let me do number 12. We didn't do. We haven't done it at all. Okay, and it's not bad. Read the question. A discount pass for a bridge costs $30 per month. The toll for the bridge is normally $5. So that means you have to read very carefully. If you don't have the pass, you're paying every time you cross the bridge, you're paying $5. But if you show them a pass, they only charge you a nominal amount. Well, a smaller amount is reduced to $3.50 for people who have purchased a pass. So you have to really understand and sift through the data. Determine the number of times in a month the bridge must be crossed so that the total monthly cost without the discount pass is the same. Okay. So basically, if you live there and you cross the bridge all the time, you're better off buying the pass. If you're visiting somebody, you're going to do it only once. You just pay your $5 and move on. So let's define our variable. Suppose the number of times you cross the bridge, blah, 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 is, I'm just going to say n, if you don't mind. The number of times the two prices match, oh, might as well. Number of times the two options equal is n. Okay. I'm saying a little more than I need to, but doesn't hurt. Okay, let's see where we can put it. I need the room. So this is defining the variable. Now ask yourself, actually, these are not that difficult for you guys, I think. You will ask yourself, if you cross this bridge n times and you don't live there, you're going to be paying 5 each time. Okay, and if you live there, you're green, you will be buying the pass. However, since you bought the pass, you're going to be paying $3.50 per crossing each time you cross. And you're going to say they are equal because that's how n is defined. This green dot is my decimal. I'm going to move things around. I want everything that contains an n on the left-hand side. 5n. I'm going to be color consistent.
Why is the 30 over by 3.5?
Because it says a discount pass for the bridge costs $30 per month.
Okay, and it costs 3.5.
Correct, correct.
Every time you go past, so that would be okay. Thank you.
Correct. So the first two lines kind of say it in a funny way. It's a little, so you have to really read it. Yes. So you subtract 3.5 from both sides and you get this. Half the battle sometime in these problems is understanding the question. And I have my 30 on the right-hand side. I didn't do anything with it. And 5 minus 1.5, 3.5 is 1.5. And 30, didn't do anything with 30. So I'm going to come here. And I'm going to say, I want to divide both sides by 1.5.
It'd be 20.
Thank you. So if you cross this bridge 20 times, it doesn't matter. Okay, per month. If you cross it 20 times, it doesn't matter. Do you want to pay $5 or you want to buy a pass? If you cross anything more than 20 times, you're actually going to save money.
So we just write 20.
Good question. Let's read the question and make sure I don't make that mistake. Determine the number of times in a month the bridge must be crossed. So the total, okay. The answer is 20 times. 20 is okay. 20 times is okay. Doesn't matter. It doesn't have a unit, it doesn't have a dollar sign. If there's a dollar sign, put it. If there is 20 is good enough, 20 times is good enough. You don't have to put answer. I write it because when somebody's watching it, and if they can't hear me well, they would know. You on the exam, just entering this will earn you full credit. Okay, and that's my answer.
But when it comes to,
I can barely hear you. You were cutting off, Jack.
oh, okay, so can you hear me better now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so in terms of things that have a metric sign like a dollar or hours or meters or yards or feet, we do have to put that to receive full credit.
Correct. You can, of course, use short. You can put it, but if you don't put it, and I know your answer is right, I'll give you credit. You should put that they're called units. So you should
But
put
is
the
it only
unit.
half credit or is it full credit?
I will give you full credit. If the answer is 20 feet and you write 20, I'll give you full credit, but you should write 20 feet. Now, when would you get half credit? If it says dimensions and you give me one part of the answer, not both, you will get half credit.
Okay, all right.
The word dimensions has a very specific meaning. Dimensions mean length and width. Give me both. Okay.
Okay. Could we do some problems from P6, please?
Why not? Any other questions on this, guys, before we move on? Okay, guys, I'm gonna do P6, but it's gonna kick me out in 2 minutes. Let's come back and do something from P6. See you guys soon. We're not done.